Okay, so I think I've got the Microsoft Teams sharing one of my screens here. Okay, yeah, so I've got an entire desktop screen being shared, and I'm going to walk through how to set up and run the VR studies. So the first thing I typically do is make sure that Microsoft Excel, cannot be open while we are running any of these studies. The next thing is I open up the Oculus program. Okay, and keep that minimized. And while that's open, I take the headset and I plug it in. So we're doing a wired connection to the PC. Then you can put the headset on. And what you want to do, typically after connecting the USB to the headset, there will be a message that pops up in the VR asking you if you want to connect to QuestLink. If that doesn't pop up, all you have to do is go to the quick settings, and that will open up a tab full of tiles, and you want to find the QuestLink. Actually, I'm wrong. Before we do QuestLink, let's set up the boundary. So within the VR, you go to the quick settings. So that's on the taskbar where the clock, the Wi-Fi, and the battery is. If you click the clock, Wi-Fi, and battery icons, it opens up the quick settings. Within the quick settings, you'll see the boundary tile. Click that, and it asks me to create a boundary. Do I want to create a stationary boundary or a room scale boundary? The difference between those is the stationary boundary will create a circle around the participant, and if they leave that circle, then the cameras activate on the VR and they'll be taken out of the virtual environment. Room scale is an option where you can walk around and you can trace the edges of the room so that the entire room becomes the border. For this particular project that we're going to be running, we don't want to set that boundary version because the participant is going to be touching the wall in one of the conditions. And so if we set up a room scale boundary where the boundary is on the wall, when the participant touches the wall, it'll activate the pass through and they'll be taken out of the virtual environment. So the where you create the boundary is actually going to change depending on the study. Um, but for this instance, I'm doing um, Ron's study in which we have the different postural conditions. And so typically I go ahead and I stand up against the wall and then I set the boundary, the stationary boundary, so that the edge of the stationary boundary actually passes through the wall and it allows me to make contact with the wall without taking me out. Okay, so all that being said, I'm going to create a stationary boundary, and then you just walk through the little windows that pop up. For me, it's created the circle around me. So I'm going to stay where my center is and I hit confirm. Okay, so now my boundary is set. And now I'm back in the quick settings of Oculus. And now I can click the Quest Link quick setting tile. It asks me to, so in the quick link tile, I can activate Quest Link by hitting launch. And then what it will do is it loads you in to a different dashboard, a different virtual environment that'll actually be this white grid. And it gives me access to all the programs that I have loaded onto the Oculus program on the desktop. This is where you want to be in order to interface with Unity. So once you're in the Quest Link environment, the white grid, take off the headset. Now you can open Unity. So I'm going to open up Unity Hub. And here's the project we're going to be running today. Um, if this was your first time initializing a project, all you have to do is go to Add and Add Project from Disk, and then you can navigate through the file browser as to where your project is and add the project. Okay, but we already have the project added, so I'm going to open it. It's loading. Okay. Okay, so this is the Unity screen. This is what you want to see in the game window, where to start the experiment. If you do not see this screen, what you need to do is come over here to the project folders and find the scenes folder, click that, and that'll take you to all the scenes that are in this study. And you want to find, there's going to be all the trial scenes. Those are the practice trials, the one named trial, and then the ones without trial are the actual scenes. And those are repeated 4 times, including the trial ones. We also have a begin scene, an end scene, and then a setup scene. This is the setup scene, so that's what you want to start on is setup. Okay, the next thing you want to do, if this is your first time running the study, is click the scripts folder in the project folders, click scripts. And these are the scripts that are in our study. And there's a few of them that you'll need to open and change the file location of where you want to save the data. So one of those is in Clicker Ticker. So open up the Clicker Ticker script. It'll open in Microsoft Visual Studio. And then this line right here has the folder that you will want to make wherever you're wanting to save your data. So for instance, go to the folder, the file browser, and we are saving data under documents. We have a folder called VR data, and then we have a folder called test data. So it opens that, and then you can copy the folder location here. So copy that, Control C, take it back here, and paste it in here. Now, for Visual Studio, when you paste the folder location from File Explorer into Visual Studio, it's going to put forward or backslashes instead of forward slashes. So what you want to do is you want to make your slashes look just like this. So I guess those are either backslashes or forward slashes, but they have to be like that, and there has to be 2 of them, and there has to be 2 at the very end. Okay, that's necessary, and also the entire folder location needs to be in quotes, and there's a semicolon after the last quote. Okay, once you've entered that in, go to File, go to Save, just this first save one here. Just to save with your new file location, and then you can close that. And then you need to change it in position data. So the next script you need to change is position data. Open that up. And again, you only have to do this for the first time. After you've changed the folder locations, they'll save and they'll stay. So again, here, you'll want to copy that same folder path that you put in Clicker Ticker, put it there, again with 2 slashes and quotation marks and the semicolon. File, save, close. And the last one will be response time. So open up the response time script and scroll down and find your folder path. And again, copy the same folder path from clicker ticker and position data and put it there. And then of course, file, save, close out. Now all three of your scripts are saved with the new folder location. And so everything should be good to go. Your headset's in the Quest Link virtual environment. So now you just hit the play button, and that allows you to interact with the game screen here. So give it a second, takes a minute to load. But once the variables button starts highlighting blue, that means you're good to go. And so you click the variables button. The participant number is what you'll enter for the participant, obviously. It's important to note that this box you can only input numerical values, so no letters. Enter in the subject's eye height, arm length, shoulder length, and then these are not necessary anymore, but so you can leave these left hand, leave this one, doesn't matter. After you've entered in the participant variables, hit the back button, and then if you could read this, it says to press Control Shift R. Control Shift R is what starts the program. So you have the play button going, you've entered the variables, and you've pressed back. Now all there is to do is press Control Shift R. Control Shift R. And it's shifted to this. That's a good thing. That means that when we put the headset on, it should be taken to the virtual environment. And I am. And so in that game screen window, you can actually see what the participant's seeing. So right now I just have the black screen in front of me, and then there's the rest of the virtual environment. And so take the controllers. Once you're in this scene here, so it begins with the black screen in front of the participant, you tell the participant to click the left thumbstick button. So you click the left thumbstick in, and that's what progresses through the trials. And then the participant's taken through the trials, and the participant makes yes/no decisions with the A button in the right hand is yes, and the X button in the left hand is no. So for this, this is too steep for me to stand on, so I would say no, left stick. There's the next one. Too steep, I'm going to say no, left stick. This one, I think I might be able to, so I'm going to say yeah, left stick. This one's a definite yes, left stick. So again, left stick progresses each time, and then the buttons make the yes/no decisions. So I'll just go through a few of these so that we can look at the data. Okay, so you can run this all the way through. It automatically stops after trial 28. But if for any reason you need to stop before the experiment is officially over, you can always just hit the play button, and that'll stop the experiment. Okay, and so I'm recording this through Microsoft Teams, and they have 15-minute recording intervals, and I'm just about to use that up with this first recording. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to start up a second recording that'll show you how to get to your data and what that should look like.